Hi there, AJ here. Today we're going to be paying homage to the King of Pop, and I'll be showing you how to create the iconic thriller werewolf eye effect in Photoshop. So let's jump right in. The first thing we're going to do is remove the pupils from the eyes of our subject. In order to do this, we're going to use the clone stamp tool. Once you've selected the clone stamp tool, hold Alt and click on the white part of the eye and use that selection to erase a little bit of the pupil. Keep repeating this process of selecting and then painting until you've gotten rid of the pupil completely. If you end up losing a couple of eyelashes while you're doing this, it's no big deal. Okay, so our subject's looking a little odd now, but not to worry. I've erased the pupils from both eyes, and the next step is to turn the eye whites into eye yellows, or in other words, just turn the eyes yellow. To do so, let's create a hue and saturation layer. Tick the colorize button and then mess around with the sliders until the eyes become a yellow that you're happy with. Since so little of our final image is actually going to be coloured yellow, I'm going to hit Ctrl I to invert this mask. Now we can paint back the yellow that we need using the brush tool. Making sure the colours here are white and black, you'll be able to start adding and subtracting from the mask. When white is in the foreground, you can add to the mask, and when black is in the foreground, you can subtract from the mask. To switch between foreground colours, hit X on the keyboard. To start off with, reduce the flow of the brush to something like 10% or even less. This way you get some natural variance in how intense the yellow is. When your flow value is this low, you can paint more softly around the edge of the eyes, and this creates a shadow effect, and this in turn makes your composition more realistic. Now it's just a matter of painting both eyes. Depending on the lighting of your image, you may want to create separate hue and saturation layers for each eye. Now for the pupils. If you're confident with your painting skills, you can create a black solid colour and paint your pupils right away using the brush tool. Alternatively, you can use the pen tool to create an outline for your pupil first. Right-click when you're done, hit Make Selection, and add 0.5 pixels of feather to this selection. Then, when you create a solid colour, you'll only be able to paint within the outline of the pupil that you made with the pen tool. Do this for both eyes. Just to make the eyes look more natural, I've actually gone back and created a brownish solid colour for each eye. I placed these at the very bottom of all the other solid colours and adjustment layers, and softly painted back some brown over each eye with a very low flow value, just to give the eyes some murkiness again. We basically just don't want our eyes looking too perfect. To not only bring more attention to the eyes, but to make our subject look even scarier, we can also add an exposure layer to place shadows under the eyes of our subject. Create an exposure layer, drag the sliders towards the left to start reducing the exposure, and then use a layer mask and the brush tool to paint under the eyelids. The eyes in the original have quite a reflective look to them, so to go the extra mile, let's add this reflective quality back into the eyes. For this, I'm going to use this image of a reflective wall and then set its blend mode to overlay. It's always a good idea to test out the different blending modes just to see what works for you. Since we want this reflection just to show over the eye, we can create a layer mask and paint away to limit its visibility. Finally, I use the camera raw filter to add some final touches. Here's what I ended up with.